What's up, fellow seekers and mystics? This is Icarus, here to give you a long-form tarot reading, and this is being performed on a Monday, so under the planetary rulership of the moon, and then in the planetary hour of Mars. So what we are going to be looking at today and the energies that we're going to be working with are going to be centered around conflicts that you need to confront, and then the courage that will be necessary to handle those conflicts, as well as how to prevent yourself from just being reactive to those conflicts, right? So truly coming from a position of logical, courageous action. So those are the energies we're going to be working with. Now I'm going to do a preparatory ceremony before this actual reading, so you can skip ahead in the timeline to where that is, or I'd encourage you, go ahead and stick around. This will help, kind of center your mind, clear your energies as well, and feel free to follow along as I guide you through that. If you have any incense or any candles you'd like to light, you may feel free to do that during this preparatory ceremony as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some deep breaths. And as I'm taking these deep breaths, I'm imagining 3 concentric circles, so 3 circles within one another, at the center of my forehead. And those 3 circles represent the 3 circles of emanation. So it's going to be from the nothing comes the something, and then the breath to spread the something. Okay. Now I'm going to light my candles and my incense. I'm going to use just one continuous flame with this torch lighter. In the beginning, there was darkness. Oh, run out of gas here. Come on, torch, you can do it. In the beginning, there was darkness. Then came the light. And from the light was forged the breath. And the breath spread the light through the darkness until equilibrium was achieved. Now I'm going to rotate 1 time counterclockwise with my left hand, 1 time clockwise with my right hand, chanting Om during both of those. Then I'm going to do a cross and then chant I am one to align myself with the energies. Om. I am one. Okay, finished with the incense. Now we'll call in the energies of the moon and Mars. Energies of the moon, energies of Mars. Please use my body and my hands as a vessel for your energies to reveal the cards necessary for the collective that is watching this message. Please use my tongue to interpret the message of the cards that are presented forth clearly and concisely to the collective, for them to better understand the divine purpose behind the messages that these cards provide. Thank you. Now we're going to draw a central theme for the reading. Again, this is based off of the conflict that you must approach and the courageous actions that must be taken to overcome or work through that conflict. What's the theme? What's the theme we are addressing today? Cut the deck. Bottom card. Okay, the theme is the Wheel of Fortune. So we are looking at a completion of a cycle. And this will be a karmic cycle, something that is a conflict that is necessary for you to approach and to overcome in order to finally turn the wheels of fate in the direction necessary that your soul needs to go to. Now, I'm not going to say that the direction you're going to turn it to is a good or bad direction, because that could be either or as far as, karmic cycles go. And I don't truly believe that there is a good or bad cycle that you would be turning towards. It just changes the lessons that we need to learn. So if you've been seeing some repeated patterns of conflicts that have been arising in your life, this reading is meant to show you what that conflict is, how to approach it, and then the outcomes that will be associated with that as well. Okay, how many cards are we drawing? 7's coming through very strongly. Yeah. All right, we're going to do 7 cards. And this first card is just going to be your current energies, the things that you're encountering at this present time. This one, same bottom of the deck. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a 5-card compass. Yeah, we'll do 5-card compass here. So we'll have 5 cards drawn over here, and I'm going to have the last 2 cards over here, and those are going to represent the 2 different outcomes that are available here to us in this current time. So your current energies, 5 of Cups. So there is a solemnness, there is getting a sense of aloneness that you are experiencing. Maybe there's a little bit of grief, a little bit of loss. So perhaps you're feeling alone, as if you have kind of had to leave something behind very, I'm going to say violently, but I don't necessarily mean that you were violent, but you had to get out of there in some way or another. Not in a tidy way, we'll put it that way. So you were kind of looking back, maybe you're regretting some things, and maybe the conflict, and going back to the general theme, the conflict that you are meant to attack, so to speak, is because it's to address whatever it was that you left behind. And maybe this is something that you're seeing yourself repeating over and over again, is having to leave things untidy, as well as there's lack of resolution. Getting lack of resolution coming through pretty strongly. Now let's look at the central opposition, the central conflict. That's what this next card is going to represent. What is it that you are meant to overcome? What is the lesson that you are meant to learn here? Cut the deck. Oh, right there. Okay. Mars energy coming through hot. Death. Okay, so this goes into the loss. Okay, so you are meant to confront death in whatever that means for you. Now, if that is the loss of someone, if it is a death, my condolences. But you are meant to kind of address the ability to close relationships or close chapters in your life. This is asking you, the conflict that it's asking you to have is the ending, is whatever it is that you know is meant to end, it's time to end it. The conflict that is being asked of you is the transformative moment for you. And this karmic cycle, right? This is big. This is 2 major arcana cards so far. And the reason why the energies of grief are coming through is because you know that this needs to end, but you're still holding on to these 2 right here, right? These 2 cups, this last little vestige of the emotional ties that you have to whatever this is. But it's time to end it. And this is the conflict that obviously you know that whatever it is, whether it's a job, a person, a relationship, a career, a house, you know, I mean, a living situation, whatever major thing you know has meant to end, has been meaning to end. What you need to do is end it. It's very clear that that's what this reading is telling you. So that's the conflict you were meant to have. So this is going to be at the center, okay? So we're going to do, because it's going to be 5 cards here, I'm going to do 2 here and 1 here. So the 2 here, what I'm going to do is right here is I'm going to do the goal. So what you're looking to accomplish, and this will be a soul accomplishment, okay? So this will be why you're encountering this conflict. The next is going to be your fear or false belief. And then the top one is going to be the advice and what you should do in this moment, right? So let's look at that. We're just going to draw all 3. So I'm going to get to a position in the deck where it says, okay, draw those top 3 cards. Actually, it wants me to take this one for sure. All right, maybe not. Mars is very disruptive. That one. Okay. It wants those 2. These are going to be the outcomes. Oh, do I have 3 here? All right. These are the 3 right here. Oh, and I had 3. Okay. What do we got here? So we have these 2 that are here. And then I have this. One of these is a clarifier. This is a clarifier. I'm going to hold this off to the side. This is a clarifier for something else over here. These are our 2 outcomes. This is going to be our advice. This is what you should do. And then here, let's see, let me make sure. Okay, I'm still on the in frame here. So again, this is going to be our clarifier. So once I need clarification, I'll bust that out. So we have our fear and false belief over here. And then we have our goal here. So the goal here is the King of Cups. So it is truly emotional stability and the outward expression of emotional stability. So the sole goal and the reason why you're being approached with this conflict right now is that you are meant to be so emotionally secure within yourself that there's nothing that can shake you. And whatever conflict it is that is being approached, that you are having to move through right now, it's obviously a big deal to you and to your outward expression of your emotions. So it is I imagine, when you think about trying to end whatever it is that this is asking you to end, it is very emotionally volatile. And maybe this would look like, and why this pattern keeps happening over and over again, is you are too afraid to have that conflict head on. And so maybe you've done things to kind of like escape having that final confrontation, that final stake in the ground where you say, I am done with this. Now, the lesson and the goal, why your soul is creating this conflict for you to move through, is because when you figure out getting beyond that initial step of initiating the end of this conflict, when you're able to put that stake in the ground and you move through this conflict and you come out the other side, what you will find is that you will now be able to hold yourself a lot more in a much more stable condition. And what I mean by that is, you notice that he's sitting on his throne, right? And he's the king of the sea. So he is the king of his emotions. He is able to sit with himself regardless of the decisions he makes, because he knows that the decisions he makes serves him and his best and highest self. So that's your soul goal. That's the reason why this is coming to you the way that it is. Now, the fear and false belief is the 6 of Pentacles. It's this give and take of disproportionate giving and receiving. It is that you feel that either you have been wronged or you have wronged others in the way that you give your hearts to others, or the way that people give their hearts to you. Your fear is that maybe, so the false belief is that that's happening, for one, but everyone just operates off of their best self-interest. And I think if you examine whatever this conflict is from the other person's perspective, you may be able to come to a conclusion as to figure out to why they've operated the way they've operated. But it's a fear also that whenever you initiate this ending, that you will be perceived as somebody who does not give equally, right? Or maybe that you're leaving something that creates this perception of you that is an unequal give and take. And so you can ignore that. You need to ignore whatever those feelings are, and you need to just place your stake in the ground and end this conflict, whatever that is. Now, the advice that we have for you. So the 10 of Pentacles. So this is find the support system. Find the people around you that can support you through this ending, right? And by doing so, that will give you the courage necessary to move forward with this ending. Now, I'm getting that this is what I need the clarifier on, because I don't know if this is, typically this is like the happy family card. I don't know if it's family for you. There's a lot of instances I could see where this conflict that you're meant to end, maybe you're meant to, leave a particular family member and you can't go to your family for this trusted thing. So clarify here let's clarify the advice that is meant to be given to you. So the 8 of Wands, okay. You are meant to move quickly, decisively, and of your own accord, whatever that means. So find these people, and you need to do this quickly. It's not that time is running out, but the quicker you do this, the easier it will be for you. And look for the people, friends, family, pets, right? I think that's why these 2 dogs are kind of jumping out at me. Maybe if it's even you perform this ending to whatever conflict this is, you place your stake in the ground, you say, I'm done doing this, I'm done repeating this pattern in my life. And then you even go to your dog or cat and you unload your emotional burdens onto them, and they just give you love in return, right? Maybe that's all you need. So do this quickly, do this decisively, understand that the universe is placing this conflict in front of you so that you can figure out what it feels like to be emotionally very grounded and be able to express it that way as well. Because I think maybe something that you have done in the past is not spiritually bypassed, but emotionally bypassed other people, in the sense that like you might put on this mask of, oh no, I'm fine, I'm okay. And that's not what the universe is wanting for you at this moment. So place your stake in the ground and end whatever repeating pattern this is. And you know what it is, whether it's a person, a place, a business, whatever it is. Now let's look at the 2 outcomes, right? Let's look at these 2 outcomes that you have for here. I see you remain in this holding pattern. This is going to be the outcome for that. This is going to be the outcome for if you do place your stake in the ground and finally end this conflict, what you can look forward to. So if you're to remain unchanged, keep the same holding pattern. So you will find inner strength. So there is a version of this where you are going to be required to be stronger than you are now. So now, of course, we have free will, we have free choice. So you have the ability to move through various different timelines throughout your life. Now, what your soul wants is the ability to move through these types of conflicts so that you can remain in a way that you can express your emotions in a healthy manner. If you do not resolve this conflict and you allow it to continue going the way and you keep repeating this pattern, what you will find is that you are going to be forced to be so strong internally that nothing externally affects you. And these might look like very similar outcomes as far as the goal goes, but the difference between these 2 is that the King of Cups is naturally able to sit on his throne and express his emotions healthily. The inner strength here is it's taming the instinctual self. So you can look at this as, if you keep repeating these patterns of avoiding the conflict, avoiding the ending, you will be forced to become so strong internally that this no longer affects you. So in a sense, that is good, but also it's just a way to emotionally bypass what you want, what your soul is asking you to go through. Now, let's say you do finally put that stake in the ground and you say, all right, I'm done with this. I'm done with these holding patterns. What do you have to look forward to? We have the 9 of Pentacles. Now look, this is essentially the same thing, but I would argue the Nine of Pentacles here is the more beneficial because you have all of this outward evidence of accomplishment, right? Whereas here, this is all just remaining internal, and you can almost see like this disappointment. I'm gonna put this a little closer to the camera just so you can see just the disappointment here on this woman's face, which is a little different than, because it is more of like a stern, like maybe not disappointment, but it seems to me that this person is much more satisfied with their life, right, than this person. And you have the outward love. This to me is there's an outward love around this card, whereas this is all internal love. So you either learn to love yourself internally so much that none of this affects you, or you learn to stand on your own, and that expression, that outward expression of being very emotionally, I'm going to say emotionally stable, but I don't mean that in the sense of like you are emotionally unstable now. I'm just saying that you're able to operate through the world in a sense of such emotional stability that when conflicts like this come at you, you understand that you can stand on your own. You're able to utilize the lessons that you've accumulated up to this point, which is why this conflict is happening to you in the first place. You're able to utilize the lessons that you've learned to cultivate the response that is most appropriate in those situations. And so the karmic harvest that you're able to gather from this is the ultimate sense of sovereignty. And this is soul sovereignty. It is the ability to be complete within the world based on your emotions. So in the comments, if you're able to tell me, thank you for joining me for this reading. In the comments, if you're able to tell me what this conflict is, I'd love to know, right? And if not, I totally get it. But otherwise, tell me what resonated with you in this reading. What is it that you've been working on in your life? What is this repeated pattern that you keep seeing? Because I'm also curious about that. Are there conflicts that you keep seeing or endings that you keep avoiding that you just know that you have to kind of put your stake in the ground and say, like, I'm done with this? And then who's the support? What's the support that you can rely on? Is it a cat? Is it a dog? I would be very curious to know who that support system is. Or maybe, it's a sibling, or it's a childhood best friend, or even a niece or a nephew, or, an aunt. I mean, I don't know. That's for you to determine, not me. But otherwise, thank you very much for this reading. I will look forward to you in another reading, and be on the lookout for my daily readings that I put out as well through the YouTube Shorts and the Instagram. So thank you much. I'm Icarus. Have a good day.